Good now, no? Yes, I think they can hear. Yes, Nana, can you hear me? Yeah? Yes? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, welcome. Oh, good. Yes? Yes. Welcome, everybody. So, in Buddhism, the Buddhist point of view is that the mind, it's a complex thing. Complex in what way? Well, complex in the way that it is created or it functions by way of cause and effect. Okay? It's quite simple in some ways. We no need to complicate these words. But it means that if you plant an orange seed, you have the possibility of having a aha. That's it. We can stop the class here. If we understand that, we understood everything. That is the problem. We normally don't understand that. Normally, we don't understand our minds and we don't understand how we function. Therefore, we create results that are not the ones that we would like to have. Right? How does it mean? What that means? Well, I hope that all of you today, when you woke up today, you said, ah, I'm alive. Even though you didn't realize that in some ways, it was there in the back of your mind, like, ooh, I'm alive. I didn't die yesterday evening, right? But not only I didn't die, but like I have an entire day ahead and I have to do so many things. And then the mind already starts with the to-do list. I need to go this, I need to do that, I need to have my coffee, I need to do this, all of those important things that we all have in the morning to do it before we can function. The problem is that, or if we actually analyze, let's not say the problem yet, let's just analyze it. What we are trying to achieve when we are doing that is that we are trying to look for some sort of happiness, right? We don't drink coffee because we hate coffee and it's just like I hate this and I'm doing that because someone is forcing me to do it. No, you do it because you like it, or maybe you're a tea person, so you drink tea, right? So you do it because you want to find happiness. Then comes these boring Buddhist people that starts to challenge you about your own happiness. Because they come and ask you, is this really happiness? Is it really happiness when you actually want to buy a new thing, a new iPhone, a new car, a new toy, something like that? But are you really, really, really happy when you get it? Is that really happiness? Because if you think about it, does it stay? When you wake up and you have your first cup of tea or coffee and you do everything that you have to do, and then you start your day, you continue happy and satisfied all the time. When you're coming here, maybe this morning, some stuff happened and then you got a little bit like, Frankie, someone drove in front of you or something didn't happen or there was not, raisins for your oatmeal, things like that. So all of these things that really disturb the mind. So the question is, are these things happiness? That is what we need to start investigating. That is what the Buddha's path is about. It's an investigation of not the raisins. If the raisins by itself, they're going to bring us happiness, but the mind that thinks the raisins are going to bring happiness. So that's why I said in the beginning that actually Buddhism, and especially the Buddha's viewpoint, is a very scientific one. But instead of observing the outside thing or object, we are identifying and understanding and investigating the subject point of view. Yes? Makes sense? And why it is important to do that? Why are we doing it? Why do we need to do that? Why the Buddha decided to do that? Why he was not enough just saying, okay, if I don't have raisins, I just get raisins and that's it. Why he decided to look inside? That's a question.
He wanted happiness.
He wanted happiness, but we just said, no? Isn't that having the raisins happiness? I'm never gonna let you away from that one. You know that, right, Jack?
Because of compassion?
Because of compassion. What do you mean by because of compassion? Isn't it having raisins for breakfast being compassion to myself?
Because as soon as the
But not because
raisins,
of compassion to everybody? No?
Okay, let me check. Let's check. Sharon, please.
the raisins are only going to give us temporary happiness, and when they're gone, we're going to start suffering again.
Very good. Isn't it? Do you agree with that? Yes? Yes? Do you agree with that? Did you guys hear online what Sharon said? Yes? You're going to say something?
Yes, I would say that knew that there was something more than that in life.
There was something more than that in life. That's also good. Yes.
And how our mind creates illusions.
To understand how our mind
Mind,
to create a mind. Sorry, can you say it again?
how our mind works, how it imputes parent existence onto objects from the object side. We understand how our side does that.
I
We
see.
understand how to remove
Yes.
the obscuration
Yes.
and attain the wisdom.
That was the conclusion. That was not the reason why. The Buddha never knew. It's a complicated question, but he never knew that things were an illusion. He had to look for it first. And that was what you were saying is exactly the result of his conclusion, of his analysis. But the question is why he decided to look for it in the first time.
And so
But what is then suffering?
Is suffering?
Yes, because we are talking about now, we are very good at putting names out there, you know? Yes, we end suffering. And what that means?
The absence of satisfaction.
The absence of satisfaction is suffering. Craving, good word.
Yeah.
Attachment, good.
anger.
But then attachment, craving, anger, why are they actually, suffering?
Doesn't last.
Yeah.
Good. That was one of the exact investigations and results of the Buddha. And he said, well, things don't last, right? So, but if things don't last, why are we actually suffering?
Expect them to last.
Because what?
Expect them.
Ah,
Where's my raisins?
exactly, right? So then, if we start to think a little bit and investigate a bit about, it's not really a problem that things don't last. What is actually creating the suffering is the mind. That is why the Buddha started to look into, well, things don't last. So how come I am going to be happy thinking that they last? Well, he had to start investigating that. He has to start really understand his mind. Because by observing everything outside of ourselves, in some ways we can know that they are not going to last, right? It's very easy if you leave something outside, like even I'm discovering something very nice because the water bowls, these offerings that we do it as a representation of our offering to the Buddha. And every day I do it mine, and when I go to put them down in the evening, they are a little bit down because of the air con dries and takes out the water, right? But then I was a bit like, if I leave it here for 1 week, then let's see if the water is gone, right? So I did that experience. And then I said, wow, you see, this is exactly this what the Buddha was saying. Things change. Even though we just see it and we don't think that this is going to touch because nobody's doing anything to it. I'm not drinking the water, I'm not doing anything, but it is changing. This house, this place where we are, it is changing right now. If we all come back in 50 years, if we don't touch it, let's see how it's going to be. Right? And the most important thing that is changing, there's two things that are changing all the time, very important to us. Our very caring, amazing, beautiful, strong body, right? It's changing all the time. But do we actually live like that? Do we live with this perception, with this understanding that our bodies are, in some ways, disintegrating? Crazy, isn't it? That's what it's doing. At some point in life, we stop creating more cells than actually the amount of cells that they are degenerating every day. The process of our bodies, right? Our bodies, we produce new cells, some cells die, but we could keep on producing new cells until a certain time and age. And then we just start going downhill. And the other thing that is always changing, it's our mind, the roller coaster of our mind. We wake up in a certain way, then something happens, then our minds go up and down, and someone says something very nice to us. Oh, you're looking so beautiful today. And we become very happy, then everything is good, the day is amazing, and then until someone, your boss, calls you in his office and say, "This is very bad. Oh, you did a very bad job." Then, then the mind goes down again, It is. So we are living in this roller coaster of emotions, thinking that this is life, thinking that that is what we need. And then, because we want to be happy, what we do, we cling to outside things for some sort of, we are holding on to some sort of happiness. And then we go, no, if I get a new iPad, if I get a new this, a new that, then I'm going to be happy. And in the end, it doesn't bring the happiness that we want. And we suffer. And we continue suffering again and again and again and again. I'm sorry to be the the bearer of bad news, but that was the Buddha did. Buddha started teaching, when after he achieved enlightenment, with the idea of the Four Noble Truths. And he said, the first truth is the truth of suffering. Everything is suffering. And people are like, what do you mean everything is suffering? No, we do experience in some things. And he said, yes, we experience temporary pleasures. That's what we do. But we mistaken this as happiness. And especially, I would say that this time and age, almost 2,600 years after the Buddha, we are making it very big mistakes about that. Because our temporary happiness, they are becoming even shorter, right? We want a little bit of this, and then we just scroll our phones, or we order food, you know? And then it's the best. I think ordering food is one of the best examples we have, because we see those amazing pictures of the pizza, of that, and you're like, oh my God, it's gonna be amazing. And you go and you're salivating, and then then you order, and it comes in this little Tupperware, a little bit mushy and all of that, and you're like, oh, is that is it? It's not the one that I ordered. It's not that what I wanted, right? So that is what it is. So that's what we're living. That's how we are living life. So the Buddha said, okay, so if this is suffering, so how do we find the causes of it? Because if we go to a doctor, you say, I have a headache. So they say, okay, let's do some tests, right? You need to run some tests until we find the cause of the headache. Because otherwise, they're going to give you some antibiotics. Is it going to work if you have a headache? Maybe, maybe not. So they first need to know what is the medicine that you need. So they first need to know the type of problems that we have. That's what the Buddha did. The Buddha started looking into the causes of suffering. And then he said, what are the causes of suffering? If we actually observe our lives, what are the causes of our suffering? Yes. Definitely ignorance it is. But he said that something a little bit like how they say, this is the main cause, but some other things create our direct suffering. You know, something else. Yes. Desire is one of the causes of our suffering, right? We call the causes of our sufferings, we call them our delusions or our negative emotions, our disturbing emotions. That's what I like, this word. Why? Why they are called disturbing emotions? Because they disturb our minds. They disturb our peace of mind. So what the Buddha said is a little bit of what Roy was saying, is that because we don't understand how things work, when something happens in the way that I don't want and I don't like, and I don't, don't like the way that this is happening, I suffer. So there is an attachment and there is a response to that attachment. And this shakes our peace of mind, disturbs, like waves in the ocean, right? So we suffer because of that. Because we allow this to take over our minds, and what we do, then we act upon it. We create all types of confusion in order to either avoid this suffering, this disturbance, or to get that what we want. Because we say, oh no, I'm just feeling like this because I still didn't get it what I want. So I need to chase what I want. So we try to chase what I want. And when we are doing these two actions, we create a lot of suffering and confusion for ourselves. Why? We create tendencies with our minds, we create speech, we talk badly about someone, we scream at someone, we actually, try to manipulate someone because we want what we want, right? We lie. And then with our bodies, we can even go to extremes of even killing someone because we want what we want, right? Or we can punch someone in the face. Yeah, we do, right? So all of these starts here in the mind, on not having the control and the understanding of the mind. That is the very important thing. And the more we do these things with our minds, we allow our minds to being disturbed by these negative emotions, the more we create habitual tendencies. This is easy to see. We all have habits. We are animals of habits, human beings. Oof. Oh yes. We all have that. We have habits that we are just following in this automatic way that we have no idea sometimes. Right? You know what I mean? Why sometimes are we doing something? No, 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 I just need to put this here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, then it's okay. Then I'm happy, right? Do you understand? No, 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 but I need to buy this in this way. No, 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 we're gonna do something. No, but we need to do in this way. No, 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 but it's right. These are all habits of the mind that we create. And we believe that these habits create happiness or create some sort of, okay, have everything under control now. Right? Yes.
What is the difference
Mm-hmm.
in working towards what we want
Mm-hmm.
and to chase what we want?
The motivation. It doesn't have the difference in the outside way, but is the motivation. That is the motivation. In Buddhism, as we were saying, I didn't do the prayers, right? I haven't started with the prayers yet. Intention and motivation. That is what differentiates. Because chasing, in a way, is almost like an automatic way, and in a kind of like confused mind, right? We we just want that, so we're chasing that. And one thing is like, I understand how things are, and I want to build that up, right? So these are more kind of like an external aspect of it. But the internal aspect of it is like, what do I want? What do I want to chase, and why I'm chasing something? Lama Yeshe used to have something so nice that he used to say, it's not what we do, but why and how. But especially why. Why are we doing something? That is what we need to actually think about it, right? Why are we doing something? So all of this that I started to talk, it was because I wanted to create a motivation for us, and so we can do the prayer. So thank you very much for bringing me back for that. So that's what we need. Why we are here? Why we are here listening to this talk, right? That is something that the motivation and thinking about our motivation in everything that we do is so important. So let's do a small motivation, okay? So we can start the talk or continue the talk with a very strong motivation. But if we think about it, we can just think, just relax a little bit the body and the mind. And we can just give a couple of breath, deep breath. And now that we just calm the mind and the body a little bit, we can just try to remember the reason why we came here in the first place. Maybe we've been coming here for so many times that we just automatically know that on Sundays we go to the Buddhist center. Maybe we came for the first time. We need to just check why, so it doesn't go into our automatic habits. And as we've been just talking about now, whatever we are doing, in some ways it's because we want to be happy and we don't want to suffer. But maybe we have been looking for this happiness and this absence of suffering for a while now, and we haven't found it. And we decided to give it a try and to check the Buddhist point of view, the Buddhist philosophy, the Buddhist science of the mind. And maybe we start to realize that what the Buddha is saying is that I need to stop focusing so much outside and maybe look more inside, inwards. The translation of the word Buddhist from Tibetan means inner being, someone that goes inside looking for the causes of happiness and the causes of our suffering. And from looking from that, then we start to realize that we need to decrease and eliminate our negative tendencies. And that wanting to be happy just for ourselves doesn't make so much sense when all our friends, family, people that we know, they also want to be happy. So we try to open a little bit our hearts and think about them as well. Because when we become calmer, more relaxed, we become more happy, fulfilled, peaceful. Then we can help them as well. They receive our kindness, our love, our compassion. Whatever we do today, whatever we listen, whatever we talk, whatever we discuss, we contemplate, we meditate on, we want to achieve these. So we need to be very clear in our motivation. And with that motivation, then whatever we do, we try to go into that direction to achieve that result. Finding happiness for ourselves and others. And eliminating our negativity tendencies. And so we're going to do some prayers in order to, aspirational prayers, as we say, in order to help us make these wishes a little bit stronger within ourselves. So we're going to start on page 35 of our book, the Golden Book. We're going to do a prayer called the Four Immeasurables. When I heard the word prayer, I always got a bit like, was a little bit against it because I felt it very, dogmatic and religious. Then I started to understand what prayer was. And prayer was actually just an aspiration, a word of understanding. It's a translation of what we want to develop, to help us develop that. That is very special. And what we're going to do with the four immeasurables, they are actually qualities that we have in ourselves that we want to expand towards all. That's what we're going to do. So we also have over there, for those that don't have the book, page 35. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. Now we go back to page 34, just at the beginning, the four immeasurables. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. Now we're going to go to page 98. What we go, we're going to take refuge, as we say. And refuge, it is not something, here it is a Buddhist refuge that we're going to talk, but we take refuge all the time. We take refuge not only in chocolate, ice cream, Netflix, Instagram, all of that, right? When we are wanting not to suffer, we wanting to be happy, we think, oh yes, I'm gonna just watch this series, just one more episode and I'm gonna be okay. That's normally our refuge. But we can take refuge in actually other things, religious, other types of religions, they also take refuge and they are very special, Jesus, Christ, God, very special. As long as we are using these things to become better human beings. Eating a chocolate out of attachment is not going to help anyone. Watching a film out of attachment or aversion because you don't want to deal with your emotions, it's not going to help anyone. Just wanting to be with someone out of attachment because you just don't want to be alone, it's not going to help anyone. But opening your heart to go inside and check what is going on and actually develop your wish to help others, this is going to help. That is what refuge is about. We take refuge in things that actually help and not things that are not going to help us. Developing a kind heart, compassion, love, kindness, it's good for us and for others. You understand? Understanding your mind, how it works, is going to help you and it's going to help others. That is what refuge is about. That's what we need to understand. So here we're going to take refuge in the Buddha, in the Dharma, and the Sangha. So the Buddha, it's nothing but our own potential. The Buddha is not someone out there. The Buddha is a representation, just a figure to say, if you walk this path and you take refuge in your own goodness, that's what you become. Almost like if you go to university and you do this, you become a doctor. Just like that. If you walk the Buddhist path and you do this, you become a Buddha. Easy. But then we take refuge in the Dharma, which is the teachings of the Buddha. So that is what we are taking actual refuge. And the Sangha is just not monks and nuns, especially not these monk, crazy, bad monk here, not this one. But the Sangha is just every single person and being that has done something before us, has walked this path, and has their own wish to help us. And we have one of the most incredible beings in this earth, the Dalai Lama, just there, helping everybody. You know, doing incredible talks about harmony, peace. He has a book called The Book of Joy with Desmond Tutu, which these Christian um, 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 archbishop, yeah, bishop, something like this. Just go to the easy word. You know, so he so good, amazing to see that. So that is the Sangha helping us. Okay? So when we do this, we think about it. Okay, I'm going for refuge. So I'm asking them to help me because I want to be free from suffering and I want to develop my heart. That, wanting to be free from suffering and develop my heart, equals to enlightenment. We use that word, enlightenment. And I go to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha because I want to help others. Not because I want by myself, just to feel good like this, relaxed. Not like this. Okay? I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. So here we use a word called merits. What are merits? I feel sometimes that the people who first translated this text, they were very special people because they learned before many people, but they use very complicated words. Merits is not a word that we use in our daily lives, do you? It's just me that I'm not a native English speaker that we don't. No, we don't use merits. So what are merits? What are merits? Good points. I like good points. I like good points. Merit. Anyone online wants to say what merits are? No? Achievements. What do you mean by achievements? I can climb the Mount Everest. So this is an achievement. Did I create merits?
depends if you help people on
Um,
the
Good answer.
Yes, Claudia?
are merits the results of good actions? So when you do kind and when you show kindness and love to others, whatever results that are produced for the other person and for you are those merits?
It's a very good way of thinking about it. Yes, it could be something like that. But merits, it's actually we can say in other words is virtuous mind, a virtuous mind, virtuous, right? What is a virtuous mind? It's a positive mind. What is a positive mind? Is something in Buddhist terms, is something that decreases your negativity and enhances your, let's say, understanding of how things are. I made it more complicated now. Yes, that is the idea always. What it does, because merit means that I am counteracting something that is negative. So let's say how patience can be a merit activity, because just practicing patience, especially the way we normally practice patience, which is called suppressing, that's what we call patience nowadays. It's like, you know, that's how I practice patience. But patience in itself only become merits if it has this wish behind it. I'm going to practice patience because I want to decrease my negativities and because I want to improve or increase my wish to develop myself. Understand what I mean by that? So then it becomes actually virtue, because this will create in our minds the understanding that following a negative mind is not good, and will make us then wanting to not only develop a patience because it feels good when I develop patience, but because by doing that I can help others. You understand how bigger it becomes than just a positive action, you know? There's a positive action, yes. If you give $1 to someone on the street, it can be seen as a positive action. And it is a positive action, but it's not a virtuous merit action. You understand? Because your mind can be like, okay, take a picture for my Instagram to see how good I am, right? Look how good I am giving money to the poor people, right? Nothing about the other person, zero. Only about yourself. You understand? So that is not merit. Nothing to do with merit. So last week, I left a question for you. And I said, I cannot even remember. Do you remember what was the question? What does it really mean to help someone? So what I've just talked about, let's start discussing that now. What does it really mean to help someone? Yes.
It's not to manipulate. It's to help someone. It's your intent, your motivation.
Okay. So it's not to manipulate, is your intention. But if your intention is to get something that you want, and then you manipulate someone, is that bad?
Yeah, because if you're manipulating,
Okay.
when you're helping someone, you're your control. You're wanting to give to the other person,
Okay.
not to control the person.
Okay. So not to control the person. Okay. Good.
So it's to remove their suffering, or at least what you can help with.
So it's to remove the suffering. Okay. So what that means?
Remove what that person is suffering with, something that you do.
If someone has a cancer, are you a doctor?
Oh, it's in your control.
Okay. So if The person has a cancer, and then you know the person is suffering, and what can you do for that person? Okay, very good. It's definitely good. Yes. So it is. It can be a good way of helping. But is that what we are talking about?
To help somebody out of the goodness of your heart without expectation of something in return.
Definitely, definitely. This is very good. Very easy said than done. No. You wanted to say something? Yes.
Just, this is kind of a bigger issue, but we brought up like, what does it mean? And it was brought up in the context of A, intentions, or B, results, but
Yes.
what happens when those two are combined? Like from a Buddhist perspective, you have good intentions, but the results turn out badly. How does that change the merit? And what is kind of the duty on the Buddhist to make sure, like due diligence, like when I think about this and reason about it,
Yes.
I need to have good results. And our society seems like they're split. Oh, I had good intentions, but it doesn't matter about the results.
Yes.
What's that saying? The worst deed is good page and good intention.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
And I'm just curious.
So if I understand what you're asking is that you're asking how it does it work in relation to merit by having a good intention, but coming a bad result, right? So here we need to be very careful of the concept of good and bad, right? Because in Buddhist terms, if you do something with a good intention, a virtuous intention, so virtues is very good to understand what we discussed, what virtues and what merits in that way means, right? So it's not only giving $1 to a person, right? That means that it needs to have this intention to decrease your negativities. So that means if you are giving $1 to someone, you are actually, because I have a tendency to be selfish, so I'm giving out of to pull that, to let it go of my selfish. Okay, you following so far? And not only this, but because I want this person to be free from suffering, right? So if this person, if nobody sees me giving that dollar, if I don't get, if that person doesn't say, if the person says, get me the money and say, a bad word for you, okay? So that is first the intention that we need to have. Out of this, if we do that, it doesn't matter the result.
What about this hypothetical? You give $1 to a person who's homeless, and then they're using it for substance abuse.
Yes.
So good intention, bad result, and is there an affirmative duty as a Buddhist to search for the, like, what is the outcome? What is the results before they do that?
Absolutely.
Make sure you follow the noblest path.
I know that. That is definitely very interesting to observe, but we need to be careful with wanting to impose our idea of what is good and bad. That is the problem. That is exactly the limitation that we have right now by not having a mind that can see the karma of others.
Like under natural law, like
yes,
it's just by over human existence.
Absolutely, I understand.
Yeah, these are big.
Yeah, no, I think it's a very good question, but it's definitely a question that we need to observe from different points of view, because it's not a black and white question. Why? Because the definition of a good intention, it doesn't necessarily brings about the result that we think it is the good result. So a perfect example of that is the Buddha when he was a bodhisattva. So that means he was still on the way to become a Buddha. Okay, so he was training and practicing. He was on a ship, and there was 100 people, and there was one person that wanted to steal everything from everybody and kill everybody because he wanted to get all of the things for himself. Okay, so what did he said? He said, because he could see the intention of that person in his mind, he could see it. Okay, which is something that we need to understand, that it's one of the um, qualities of the mind that we can develop throughout our process. We can actually observe the intention of the other person. So if that person wanted to do that, he was going to create extremely negative karma, right? So, and all of these people were going to suffer. So there was no good situation there, right? Nothing good. The person was going to kill 100 people, and 100 people are going to be killed. So always all negative karma, all bad results. So what the Buddha did, he said, I will take that negative karma on myself, and I will kill that person. Okay? So he healed that one person, so he would not have those negative tendencies. Okay? So what did he did out of that? He himself went to what we call the lower realms when he died. He was not a Buddha yet. He was a Bodhisattva, as I was saying, right? So the Bodhisattva went to the lower realms. So he suffered out of that karma. And then when he came back, he was able to understand his compassion. So his compassion increased. We don't have that mind right now, right? We don't have that mind that can say, oh, if I give money to him and he's going to get used to drugs, he's just going to continue using drugs and he's going to be completely, like a trash person. Maybe that $5 that I gave to this person, and if I did it with such a good motivation that I talked to this person, I just not gave $5, but I stopped, I talked, and I did something. Maybe that created a karma in the mind of that person that they still use that $5 to use drugs, but after that he had such a bad trip, and he said, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to find help. Right? You don't know. You have no idea. It's not up to us to decide the result. The result is not cause and effect directly like that. There's so many conditions that have, right? The only thing we can do it is to create a good intention, because that creates a good result in our own mind. That is the thing. The creation of a good intention and a good motivation, it creates a habitual tendency in our minds to go opening our hearts more and more. So, for example, when you go and give $5 to someone on the street, you might say, sweetheart, this life, that's what I can do for you. You know, that is what I can do. But I hope that I can actually become a Buddha very soon, that I can continue my path and I can meet you again and help you better. It transforms the entire situation for you and even for that person. Because that person might see in you something different. Because maybe you talk to that person, you look that person in the eye. You not just put it $5 over there and they just walk away like everybody else, right? So when we are doing these things, we are doing for ourselves first, to decrease our negative tendencies. That's what I was saying in the beginning. Remember, you're doing that because you want to see that person, because you want to decrease your attachment to your money and to your control of thinking, because these people are bad people. You have no idea why this person is there, right? No idea. And that is the problem. We start to actually using different ways of manipulating ourselves in relation to a result, because sometimes we just don't want to do something. You understand? And that is, yes,
You're judging.
yes, the judging, we are judging, but we are judging not because I don't like to use the word judging. It is judging, but I don't like to use the word judging because judging means almost as if we are being bad people. There is that feeling of like, you are a judgmental person. No, we are judging all the time. That's what we are doing. That's what we are doing all the time. But judging comes from a misconception, comes from a wrong understanding how things work. Because we see that if I give money to that person is going to use for drugs because he's a drug addict. We don't know that. We don't know the results that this can create. So that's why the more we work on ourselves, the more we can actually develop ourselves. And we can just not give $5, but give $5 and say, like, do you need anything? How are you doing? I have had some experiences with like people. I was once in a train in London. It was very funny, that situation. And there was this guy coming inside of the train, young guy. He must be maybe between when like 30s, 30 something, early 30s. And he was asking everybody money. And he saw me and he said, are you like a Buddhist monk? And I said, yes. And he said, can I talk to you? And I said, yes, come and sit here. So we sit for half an hour. And he was saying to me, because, and I say, what happened to you? And he said, what happened to me is that I feel that the entire society and the government and all of that, they want us to screw up. They want us to kind of like, fail. And I didn't have opportunities. So, and I said, I understand. But do you think that this mindset is going to help you? Do you think that thinking, for me, someone needs to come and save me is going to help you? If you want something, if you want to get out of drugs, if you want to get out, there's many options out there. So don't come with these excuses. I was not there for pity. Oh, poor guy. Because pity comes from arrogance, right? I am here and you're there. So no, you come from seeing the difficulty of this person, and the only thing you can say is help his mind. Only thing. So then you can say, and then I said to him, but you can stay with that for the entire life. Who is suffering is you, probably your mother, your family, seeing you in this situation, or you can do something about it. It's up to you. And especially in a place like London where there's a lot of help that I know. So what are you gonna do? And the guy, he was so shocked, I think, with that, right? And I'm not saying that oh wow, how amazing Cowden is. No, just that. Just looking at a human being. Forget my judgments about what is wrong, what is right, what is. If I just have that intention of looking to that person and say, okay, what can I do? It doesn't matter if he would punch me in the face. You understand? He might not like what I'm saying. I'm not worried about that anymore. You understand? That's the mind that we need to develop, right? And that is with time, we go developing that. Right now, we start from where we are. We give $5 and that's it. Next time, if someone that has a dog, you go because you like dogs, you give $5 and you ask, oh, what is the name of the dog? And then you go and then you ask a little bit more. And then you just go like this. And if you want to do something, then you become president of the US. And then you can change things. It's true, you know? But it's true. That's what we can do. If we actually can do about something, then we can do it. So the cause and effect, it comes from that intention to bring about help. But that is what the type of help that we are talking here. We are not talking about only giving money, only giving a hug, only giving medicine. We are talking about helping others to transform their mind and open their hearts.
Not talking about.
And not talking about it, doing it, right? Compassion is an active experience. Nothing to do with being a doormat, nothing like that. Actually, the most compassionate people are those that fight so much against many difficulties, right? Martin Luther King, Madre Teresa, like the Dalai Lama, who had to decide to leave his country because he said, I am not going to let anyone in my country to fight the Chinese and create negative karma and allow the Chinese to kill others. I want. Can you imagine? You are the president because he was the not the religious figure, but the political figure, and you decide not going to fight. Nowadays, it's impossible. We think it is impossible in this world. That happened 60 years ago. So it is possible, right? So I'm just saying that is very limited our way that we can think that we can help others right now. But we can help others in so many ways as long as we develop our hearts and work in our minds. Because if we are in a mind that is very negative, self-centered, thinking about me, my opinions, my worldviews, my, needs, then it's not going to help. We cannot be able to help. Because my views are just thoughts, just like bubbles. So these thoughts, they come from somewhere. And normally this somewhere that it comes from, it's a negative attitude. It's a selfish attitude. No, don't do that because this is bad. Because I know this is bad. And then we're going to go into understanding more and more that it's it's not really like this. If something was really bad, then everybody was going to think in the same way as you. And right now we are in the perfect example that things are completely subjective because we are in election time. Right? Elections bring us the possibility of understanding how our opinion is our own. It comes from our mind. Because if it was true, everybody was going to have to see the same way as we do. And guess what? They don't. Actually, they don't, but they see it quite the opposite of what we do, right? Especially now in this country with Republicans and Democrats, it's just like, wow, water and wine or whatever it is, the difference. But it's just that. So this helps us to understand that, wait a minute, my perception of the world is coming from my own mind. It's my interpretation. It's my way of seeing things. That then we start to understand a little bit more about ourselves. We start to understand that this is not pretty because it is pretty from the side of this object. You see it as pretty, right? You perceive it as pretty because if it was pretty, all of you here would have to say, yes, it is pretty. But maybe our little friend here is going to say, I would like blue. I don't like green, right? He has all the choice to do that. But then we need to start understanding that it's not about the object outside. It's not about the person sitting on the street asking for money. It's our perception of it. And then we can do it whatever we want with that. We can decide to have a perception that is going to make us more unhappy, like suffer more, having more difficulties, judging more and putting people away and not having people around us because, oh no, I don't want to anyone that disagree with me, right? That's what we do normally. We just want to have people around us that think exactly the same as us and enhance our, yes, I know I'm right. Yes, I'm a good person, right? The first person that it starts, oh no, that cousin is gonna come and he's gonna start, or that person that oh no, that person, the friend of I don't know of my wife or my partner, that starts to come and talk about that. Oh no, he's coming as well. So we start to understand that it's our perception. And our perception, it is a choice that we have. Right now, it's not a choice. Right now, I'm sorry to, to bear bad news, but we don't have a choice. Right now, we are just following our completely crazy minds, and that's it. But if we start to observe our minds, Elaine, I'm going to let you ask in a minute. I see you. Thank you. So what we're going to do is that right now, we are just following our negative tendencies. We're just following it. But with mindfulness, with awareness, with understanding the mind, we start to say, oh, wait a minute. I don't have to. I don't have to. I can choose to see things differently. And the way that I'm going to do that is by understanding my own mind, understanding the negative tendencies, that the mind that see things in a certain way, the judgments that we do, don't help us. Then what I'm going to start to do, I'm going to start to see that I need to let them go. I need to be free from them. So every time that anger appears, because that is our immediate instant, as I always say, effortless. Feeling angry is effortless. We just need one thing that ignites it and it comes like fire. And for each of us is different, whatever it is, right? It can be anything, and each of us, it can be different things, different days. Because one day maybe, okay, yeah, it's okay. No, there's no raisins, it's okay. The next day is like, oh my God, there's no raisins, right? So we have no control of our minds, zero control of our minds. So we start to understand that anger, it's a negative taste. There's, leaves a negative taste in our minds, makes my blood pressure go up, makes me go tense, made me go, And then not only this, but when I do that, then my son, my partner, my friends, my colleagues, they all don't want to be around me. Right? So then we start to actually want to choose. I don't want to feel angry anymore. So we start to realize when the anger comes up that I can let it go. I don't need to follow it because I understand the negative aspects. I can recognize it. I can understand the faults of it. I can understand how bad it is. And I say, I'm not going to follow it. So what I'm going to do? Then I'm going to put an antidote to it. I'm going to then practice patience. I'm going to practice compassion. I'm going to practice love, kindness. Then we start replacing these automatic ways of existing to something that is much more positive, much more realistic. Why? Because love, kindness, compassion, patience, they are based in reality. In what way they are based in reality? Because they are based in understanding that we are interdependent. That every single thing that you want, that you need, that you like, it is due to the kindness of others. You cannot eat without the kindness of others. You cannot take your car from here to home, from home to here, without the kindness of others. You cannot survive without an AC because of the kindness of others. You cannot, survive being alone in yourself, but by having a family. Also, to kind of like, of friends, of people to express love, compassion, all of this. So can you see how we are totally dependent on others? So if we start to understand that, we start to wanting to help, not only to help others in a very kind of like, direct way, which is great. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying you don't give $5 to the guy in the street. Yes, but you do it with a transforming your mind. You do it with the way to really use it as a transformation of the mind. Then life becomes joyful. Life becomes meaningful. Life becomes purposeful because you have a purpose, which is to help others. By doing what? Transforming and opening your heart. What else you want? Nothing more. Elaine, you wanted to ask something before my blah, blah, blah?
I wanted to ask a question. I have a friend who talks to me often about her issue. Doesn't even matter what the issue is, but she does the same thing over and over and over and over again. And she'll talk to me about it ad infinitum. And if I give her, I'll say, do you want my feedback? She'll say yes. And I give her feedback and she gets angry at me for the feedback. And then I don't give her the feedback anymore. And then she's very dramatic and I get burnt out on the drama. And then I lack compassion for her. I start getting angry with her and I feel a lack of compassion. And then I feel bad about myself. Help.
I love thinking.
Help.
You would help you.
Yeah, because I need to change me because she's not going to change.
You got it. You got it. That's it. You got the answer. That's it. As long as you understand that whatever you're doing to her is not to change her. You don't want to change her. You can't change her. The Buddha, and then there's also a very precious scholar from the 3rd century called Nagarjuna, and he used to say the Buddha doesn't take away your sins, he doesn't purify your negativities, and he doesn't give you your positive qualities. You need to do it. So whatever you're doing to her, you need to understand that you're not there to change her. You are not there for thinking that she needs to be in a different way, or if she needs to do this because this is the right way to do it. This is the result that she needs to accomplish. You know that type of things that we all do, that we give advice by not being asked to, and then, and we want it to be exactly in this way, That is the point. It's your mind that is creating the difficulty, right? What we can do is that you need to check if being around her and actually trying to help her is helping you. Because if it's not, then you need to do your own work first. And when you do, you become a little bit stronger and all of that, and you come back and help her. But the problem is that we don't think like that. We think that no, I can do it, and I can go, and then I get angry and I go back, tummy, and say, oh my God, she's crazy, she's horrible, she's that, she's that. I know exactly how it feels. I'm exactly the same. Don't get me wrong. So it is like this, but because we are not perceiving where we are with our minds, and there's nothing wrong because nobody's saying to you, oh, you need to do this, you need to be like this, you should be like that. No, you just do what you can. As our friend said here, if you have someone that there is cancer and then you cannot do much, you just give them a hug, and that's fine. Sometimes that's the best we can do. But we need to check our motivation, our intention for doing whatever we are doing. Because normally, if we check, we're going to be a bit more surprised than we think, because we are actually doing for ourselves. We are doing to see, I want, because as we've been studying right now, some of you already heard about the 8 worldly concerns, right? The 8 worldly dharmas. So all the time, what we are doing, we are wanting people to see ourselves as a good person, good reputation. If you look at your mind, you're going to see that most of the things you do, it's because you want to have a good reputation. And good reputation might be good reputation as a parent, as a brother, as a sister, as a mother, as a father, as a kind of like at work, as especially as a monk. Ooh, these monks, wow, they do it so much. So, especially these ones. So, like you do it because of good reputation. Ah, yes, look how amazing. Oh, yes, how holy, how this, how that, all of that. Then you do it because you want to be praised. Look how I'm doing. Look how I am a nice person. Look at this. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh, thank you so much. You're so kind. Oh, you're so nice. Thank you so much. Right? That's what we're doing when we are giving money to the beggar. We want him to acknowledge that we are a generous person. Come on, tell me. Thank you. Right? Or someone else says, oh, that's so kind of you, you did that, right? And then what we are doing is that we are always looking for pleasures. We are, in a way, exchanging our lives, our energy, whatever we are doing, we are exchanging short-term pleasures instead of long-term lasting happiness. That's what we are doing. That's what we are choosing. We are choosing in a way to get the instant, which we think it is happiness, which is a little bit of excitement, which is, if we would actually observe our minds and our bodies, we are tensing ourselves. Excitement, okay? Excitement tense ourselves. And the more relaxed we are, the more spacious we become, the more like the body becomes more relaxed and spacious, even. And if this comes, if it happens, happens. It doesn't happen, doesn't happen. Okay. If we have that mentality, that means that we don't do anything, then I'm never gonna be able to get a job or kind of like find. No, quite the opposite. Because you have so much space, you have the space to actually use your body, speech, and mind to work towards something that is meaningful, that is gonna help you. And not because you just want to get something that, oh yes, but if I do that, people are going to see me that I'm successful, that I am, someone important, that I am this, that I am that. When I was working in finance, I used to say, you can just ask me, call me your intern, but just give me the money. That's what I want. Why? Because I wanted money, because I wanted to be completely free. At 30 years old, I had this idea that I was going to go to Africa and have a how do you say, a place for kids, orphanage. That's what I wanted, right? When I was 15, 16 years old. That's what I actually want. But then I started to work and I started to see that, oh my God, to be here is gonna kill me. Having to be in a situation that I am not happy and I don't believe. Then you change. Because then you need to do something that feels fulfillment for yourself, right?
I'm sorry, Venerable, can you repeat that again?
Which part?
That's gonna kill you?
Well, the part that if you are doing something that is just not according to what is really going to bring you long lasting happiness, if you're just going to be doing short-term happiness, short-term happiness, short-term happiness, it's not going to help you, right? In the long term, the bill comes, you know, the bill comes and then you are frustrated, then you are like, you know, you have middle age crisis or old person's crisis, or you know, or young people crisis. Every day nowadays we all having crisis, you know, because of that, because we are doing things that we don't believe in, but we don't believe here really. When we touch our heart and we check and we say, is that really going to bring me happiness? And we know it's not. So what we do, we just continue doing something, believing that, oh no, no, okay, when I get this, then I'm gonna be, oh, and the next one, you know. I still remember I was thinking like when I wanted to leave my job for like maybe a year or more, and I was doing therapy, meditation, yoga, everything, you know. I needed to give me the possibility. And then I was always thinking, no, next bonus, you know. Oh yeah, when I get that money, then I go. Oh yeah, when I get that money, then I go, you know. And then one day I just said, there's no perfect day. I'm just gonna have to do it one day, right? I'm just gonna have to do it. And then they came to me and said, oh, we want to offer you more money. And I said, okay, now is the perfect time to say no. Because I don't want that, right? I didn't want that. So I was not doing because of that, actually. So I didn't want that. So I said, I need to go. So it's like that. This is the idea that we need to create. We need to create that. If we really look into our minds and say, I want to put the long-term happiness instead of the short-term happiness into account, then things are going to change. So you don't need to worry. It's like our friends were asking about the result. If we put that as your motivation, don't worry about the result. Don't worry. I know it sounds scary, but don't worry. Because if you put in mind that you want to work on yourself so you can be a better human being to help others, don't worry about it. It will work. Because this is reality. And this is going to help you. Reality is going to help you because that's what reality is. It's just how it is. We are social beings. People like people that are nice to others. It's just that. The same way that you like when someone is nice to you, people like when you are nice to them. Just that. It's cause and effect, right? It's result. Yes, sweetie.
To go back to answer your question about helping people and I think it is your intention and motivation. Are you trying to enable the person, or are you trying to empower the person? And even with the child, are you helping the child to empower her to be independent or interdependent, as we say? Or is your need to be needed that they will be like, you'll get the praise and you'll get the attention? That helping someone is empowering that person not to be dependent on you, but and not to enable with giving the money.
No, not what we are talking here. Okay. Did you guys hear what she said online? No? Okay. So she was asking if helping others, like coming back to the question about what really means to help someone, is it like empowering someone? Is that what it means to help someone? Right? Just to just to summarize. Not necessarily. Helping someone, it's not a set deal. It doesn't have a specific way. There is what? The intention. The intention needs to be coming from your wish, okay, to help others. And that means that how you're going to help others? By two things. One, I'm not going to harm them. So that is already a way to help them, right? If you don't harm them. And if I can, I'm going to help them. So what is the most effective way that I can help this person? I can help this person if this person has a cancer, just to give them a hug. Maybe this person has cancer and I know them, and if I have a possibility in that moment, I can talk about death and helping this person to prepare for that possibility, right? Or I can actually talk about the power of their own minds, that they can actually use this situation to open their hearts and think about every single person in the world who's going exactly through the same as this person is doing, and thinking, look at how amazing the conditions you have, because many people don't have. So feel gratitude about it. Don't feel like, oh, poor me, I'm just dying and I don't have anything. No, look at it in another different way. So what you're trying to do to help is that you're free. You don't have a set agenda. You don't have an agenda to empower someone. You don't have the agenda to say, you need to do this or that. You should be like this or should be like that. You should have that or this. No, nothing. You're free. But you just have the intention. The intention to help that person in the best of your abilities in order for that person to be free from suffering. And that suffering might be physical, mostly is emotional, right? And that is where we want to go, because we understand that the causes of the suffering, it's a mental attitude. So what we're trying to help this person is to see things in a different way. That's why I said to him, it's not black and white, a different perspective. That's what we're trying to do. That is what meditation is actually in Buddhism. Meditation means familiarization. So we need to familiarize ourselves with the object, but to see the object, we need to see the object in all its ways. And not only the way we see it, no, it is here, glued in our minds. And we just think it's one way, our way, right? So then it's helping someone, it's a completely free game. Today you can say, oh yes, you do it in this way. Next day you do it in a different way. And with this person doesn't mean that it's going to work with the second person. Because things are not the same ever. Because things are changing. Remember, we talked about it. So that is the freedom. That is exactly what we are talking about. Because these talks were about this book called Freedom Through Understanding from Lama Yeshe and Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And this is exactly what they are trying to say. Freedom can only come through understanding. And we can only be free to actually, and being free is going to help us. Can you imagine going into a situation without having any agenda, any kind of like heaviness of, I need to accomplish this, I need to do this, I need to perform like that, I need to be like this, I need to fulfill this person's needs. That's why people burn out when they try to help others, because they are not helping. They are doing things thinking that I need to fulfill that person's need, right? I need is what we say. Then we just do everything that this person wants. Is that helpful? Is that helpful when you're bringing up kids? I want to watch Netflix all day. Okay, yes, I'm helping my kid. Really? You guys know more than like all of us, that actually putting limits and boundaries on what you, in the best of your abilities, you can know what you think it is the best for them. And we do that with ourselves. We need to do that as long as we can, as much as we can with others. So that's why we need to be free. The free we are, the freer blah, 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 we are, we can actually help others. But if we come with a backpack, with these agendas, with these ideas, no, this is that, then we start to control everything. Forget about it. It's going to be difficult for you. It's going to be difficult for the person, and it's not going to work with the way that you want. and then you burn out, you know? But I'm so good, I'm there helping out. PTSD, post-trauma, blah, 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 that one, okay? Many people, when in 2015, I was in Nepal when the earthquake happened there was a big earthquake, and there was some people coming and different, like Doctors Without Borders and all of these things. And I was unfortunately shocked to work with some of these people because they were so stressed, and they had so much of like, I know what is best type of attitude. That was very dangerous to me in a way, right? I understand that they know in some situations what is best, but for you to understand that you only think you know what is best for the other person, wow, it's difficult. That was one of my decisions because I had that dream that I wanted to work with Doctors Without Borders and go and help the world and change the world. Totally crazy, right? Because my mind was still there. My arrogant, selfish, completely egoistic mind, thinking that I am important, I know best, I want to do the way I want. Is that really helpful? So that is what we can do. We go slowly, step by step by step by step, working to decrease our selfish attitude, our negative attitudes, and we go increasing our freedom, our love and kindness and compassion. That is the Buddhist path. That's it. There's nothing more. Okay? You wanted to say something? No? You wanted to say something, sweetie?
Yeah, I was just saying, I think like when people have real gratitude for themselves and their life and their health and what they have,
Yes.
they can go at giving and helping somebody else
Yes.
from compassion in the
Yes.
right way.
Yeah, because then it's based in reality,
It doesn't
right?
have to be money. You could
No.
volunteer your time.
No, you
at a
can give your
food
time,
bank,
you can give words, you can give anything. But you do that because it's based in reality, right? Because we have one of the first meditations that we do in the Buddhist path is called the precious human rebirth. And we talk about it. What is the precious human rebirth? It's exactly that idea, understanding how precious our lives are. So that is so special. So anyway, yes. So last one so we can finish.
So like what I'm hearing, what I'm understanding is
Yes.
just not knowing mind, right?
Mhm.
Just not knowing and being with
Mhm.
what is there. And
It
then
is
having a compassion
it is a
heart.
not knowing, but is a knowing it all mind. Do you understand?
A broad picture.
Yes. It is a mind that is not kind of like she used the word manipulated, and I like the word manipulation in the way of like we don't manipulate what is happening. We don't manipulate what is happening. We know what is happening. And from this knowing, we have a freedom to decide. And understanding that this decision needs to come first from our motivation. And our motivation is to understand our mind coming either from a selfish way or a way that thinks about others. There's no, they cannot coincide. They cannot have together. No, 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 but I think about myself and I can think about others. No, they cannot. Actually, in reality, but you don't need, because if you're worried about thinking about yourself, that if you do something, you're not going to get what you actually want, the opposite. There's a beautiful text from a Potawa Geshe, one of the Geshes he used to say, when you act, the best gift you can get is when you don't have attachments, when you don't have, any like agenda, when you don't have any of these things. When you actually give without wanting anything in return, that's the best gift for you. The best feeling when you give without expecting anything, because you're free, right? You're free. You don't have anything. That. Okay, so that was the blah 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 of today. A lot of blah blah blah. Actually, this is going to be the last blah 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 on this Sunday, because next Sunday we're going to do it a very special teacher, one Geshe Geshe means a person that has studied like a PhD in Buddhist philosophy. So he's much more qualified than me. So finally, you guys have a good karma to actually receive some good teachings and not blah blah blah. So you guys created a good karma for that. That's very good. So he's gonna come, and he's actually, because these statues, this statue and this statue over here, normally when we actually when we have statues like this, we fill them with mantras, with incense and different things. And it's a way to see it is almost like they are full of qualities, right? Is the representation of the qualities. And the mantras, they are kind of like written like this, and then you put it like a stick of incense, and then you have to roll it. So it takes a long time. So all of these, some monks in Nepal, they did that, and they sent to us because we are very lazy. I'm very lazy, so they did that. So they kind of like, we have everything already done, and we're gonna feel it, you know. And on next Sunday we're gonna do a consecration puja. A puja is like a prayer. It's just like a way that, you know, we kind of like we consecrate it as seeing it, so we can see it as a full statue. Let's say like that. Okay, so he's the teacher's Geshe Tingley. He's gonna come, and I'll be here to assist him, to help him. So you're all invited to come for that. Okay, it's gonna be a very nice activity. So that's why we don't have it. And then after that, the following Friday, yes, following Friday, 20th, no, 30th, I already leave for a couple of months. So I'm not gonna be back for a couple of months, many months maybe. But I will try to do it online, the teachings. Okay, I'm just working that with Rebecca and with Dawn, so we can do that. So it has been absolutely pleasure to be here on Sundays. Very, very good. I like it that Sunday is actually, my brother asked me, why you teach on Sunday? Sunday is not a day. And I said, no, it's our church day in Buddhism, you know? It's like we go to church on Sundays as well. So it's very good. So it's been an absolutely delight to be here. Absolutely wonderful. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and especially, most especially, that it is beneficial for you. That you can come out from here using some of these things in a beneficial way to transform your mind. Because if each of us we do our inner job of developing our good heart, developing our minds, then the world is going to be a better place. It's just cause and effect, right? It's just how it is. So don't forget that. Don't forget to use these, whatever you thought that it has been beneficial, to use these in a beneficial way for yourselves, and then continue spreading this, right? Then pass it on. That's what we say. How do you say? Pass it, you know, just continue passing forward. To develop your heart, keep your heart warm and kind and compassionate, and then keep going. Okay? So thank you very, very much. We're going to do a little short dedications because it's very important. So dedication in Buddhism means that we are sealing our intention. So it's very important that whatever we do with a positive intention, that we seal it, that we close it with a positive intention as well. So we can just do it, like, you know, continue doing it towards with our activities. Because otherwise we sit here and we meditate, we come here, and then we come out of here, and then immediately it's gone, right? Immediately we are already thinking only about ourselves. But the idea of dedication is to bring about in our daily lives this intention. Oh yes, I want to benefit others. Oh yes, I want to do this. Oh yes, I don't need to follow my anger. I don't need to follow my attachment. I have a choice. Okay? So we're gonna do that. So these are called dedication prayers. So they are also, they have many difficult words, so don't worry about them. Just think about that. All of these incredible energy that we created here individually and together, all of the energy that we created throughout these teachings, you know, throughout these weeks, everything that we heard, everything that we talked, everything that we contemplated, may it be beneficial for ourselves so we can help others. Okay? That's the most important. So we just do it together. So page 235. 235, otherwise we have over there on the computer. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra too realize things as they are, I too dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication praises the best by the victorious ones, thus gone of the 3 times, so I might perform good works. I dedicate whatever virtues I have ever collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of perfect pure Losandrapa to shine forever. Now we go to page 246. So we can do another dedication. 246. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of our merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food, may the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy, may the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. And we dedicate, because we would not be here if it was not due to the kindness of many, many beings who created this space, who started this space, all of the volunteers, all of the directors, all of the students that came before us, all of the people who taught here before us. So all of them, is because of them we are here now and enjoying these. And especially we would say that we were not going to be here if it was not for our teachers, Lama Yeshe and Lama Zopa Rinpoche, who in the 60s started teaching these, hippies in Nepal, and then brought about all of these incredible teachings throughout the world. And all of these would not be even possible for the, for the we Westerners to know about Buddhism if it was not for the kindness of the Dalai Lama, of His Holiness. I actually on Thursday I will be in New York to see the Dalai Lama. So I hope that we can actually dedicate for his long and healthy and stable life, so he can continue being a beacon of light, not only to ourselves, but to the world. So we go to page 244 to do a long life prayer for him. 244. So long life prayer to His Holiness. In the land encircled by snow land, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful Chenrezig Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. And now we're going to go to page 234, and we're going to do a prayer we call the Swift Return Prayer that the Dalai Lama composed for our teacher, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, who was most kind than anyone, and all the mothers and fathers and all sentient beings, because he was only here to help us and all sentient beings to achieve enlightenment. And he passed away last year, so as we believe in reincarnation in Buddhism, we want him to come back and help us. So we're going to do this prayer for his swift return. Fearless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losam, father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you are the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable Venerable Guru, to you I make request. What? Continue. The single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, so gateway to which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss! Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the oceans of the three jewels, and the great ways of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples. So thank you very, very, very much. For those, I forgot to say that for those that would like, we're going to watch a movie tonight at 7 here. We're going to watch a movie called Mystic Tibet. It's a movie that Lama Zopa Rinpoche, he went to Tibet and he did a pilgrimage over there. So we're gonna watch this because we are organizing to do a pilgrimage for next year to Nepal. We cannot go to Tibet, and there's also difficulties, but to Nepal we can do it. So next year we are working on to have a pilgrimage to Nepal. So I want to watch this movie to inspire you to do a pilgrimage next year. Yes. So it's I'm gonna bring popcorn and we have some snacks over there. So you're all welcome to come. Okay. Thank you very, very, very much. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
Question.
everybody online.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Venerable.
Thank you.
Venerable, I have a question.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a long life ceremony for His Holiness. Is there any information about it online or something?
It's not gonna be online.
All right. Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
it's not gonna be online, unfortunately. He's gonna have one on
Good.
the 22nd is gonna be
In New
New
York,
York, and then on
right?
the 25th, 24th or 25th, I can't remember right now. Is gonna be in Zurich. He's gonna have one in Zurich as well.
Okay, because I was checking
Yes.
his website and it's not in the schedule. So
Yes, check his website. Okay. Bye bye. Thank you.
thank you. Bye
Venerable,
bye.
just one quick question. The pilgrimage that you just said, when would it be? Like, do you know anything
October
about it?
2025.
Which places? Any ideas?
We're gonna talk about it later. I'll
Thank
send
you.
you. I'll send you the information.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Nana. Thank you for the prayers. Take care. Bye bye.